Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Studio Series number 52. And this is interesting. It's a 3-pack. Not the deluxe price point, but it's got little figures of Chromia, Arcee, and Elita-1. So, like the 3 motorcycle sisters from the Revenge of the Fallen film. When this got announced, I was really surprised that they were going to do these, because I just imagined it'd be very difficult to pull off in this scale, but they decided to go ahead and do it. So they are relatively simple figures because of how small they are. So I'm honestly not sure how the final execution is going to be. We'll open them up and see the quality of them. I gotta say, they do look a little lacking in the paint department. I wish I would have used maybe a glossier plastic or used silver paint for these silver gray parts, a la like the new Voyager Megatron, but oh well, what can you do? And this is the first time we've received toys of these in quite a few years now. And I don't know for sure. I've heard that they can combine potentially. It hasn't been shown anywhere officially. I've heard they can, I've heard they can, so I guess we'll find out. But them combining is kind of the cool callback to a feature they're supposed to have in like the movie, and the toys were supposed to have it, but then they nixed the feature. So they finally came through on that and gave them their combined mode. That's gonna be very neat. That'll definitely determine my final thoughts on this toy. Speaking of final thoughts, if you've seen my reviews before, you know exactly how this goes. We're gonna take a look at the packaging. We're gonna take the Arcee sisters out, look at them in their vehicle and robot modes, potentially combined mode, and of course at the end, I'll give those aforementioned final thoughts. So right here, the packaging is your standard fare deluxe packaging, though this whole render area is a lot beefier because they gotta get 3 characters on here. So that's very different. This makes this a bit unique. You got the Revenge of the Fallen call out right there. The 52 has actually been moved over here. Normally it's on this side. I guess they didn't want to cover up too much of the, robots there. You can see all 3 of them. Admittedly, they look pretty samey, but I think they are all quite unique mold-wise. We'll have to break them out and really get a good look at them. Looks like we got some weapons over here. You got the renders of their faces right there. And then here you have the renders of the toys themselves in their vehicle and robot modes. Chromia takes 12 steps to transform, being the simplest. Arcee takes 15, and Elita-1 takes 16. So definitely a lot of variation going on with the molding, so that's good. Says they got a backdrop included. Doesn't actually call out what it is, but I imagine it is them. What is it? Is it Hong Kong? Shanghai. There it is. Shanghai Pursuit. So that's the beginning of the Revenge of the Fallen film. And they got this little blurb here. Chromia, Arcee, and Elita-1 are in hot pursuit of Decepticons. So that's very accurate to the scene that they were included in. And then if you turn to the side here, you can see the fuller renders of all 3 sisters grouped together. That's a very cool shot. Definitely digging that. Now the triplets instruction booklet is interesting because it's an odd shape for a deluxe class toy. It's shaped kind of like a book. It's also quite a bit thicker than usual, which I suppose makes sense because you're dealing with 3 toys, 3 separate transformations here. So this first bit shows you how to attach their accessories. I will say right now it's having you attach Chromia's arm or shoulder armor to Arcee. Really, it should go on Chromia, and I'll tell you why there's that mix-up here soon. All right, so you have your transformation for Arcee right here, and on the back, you've got Chromia and Elita-1's transformations. So, very useful, very informative. However, no instructions for the combined mode, so we have to figure it out ourselves. And then you got these cross cells for Bumblebee and Soundwave. And here you have the 3 sisters in their motorcycle modes. You got Arcee, Chromia, Elita-1. And you also have all of these accessories and pieces. These 3 are stands for the 3 when they're in the robot mode, so they're not just flopping over on their little wheel feet. And these are like weapons and armor and stuff. And unfortunately, none of these accessories can go on the triplets when they're in their motorcycle modes. So they're just completely cast aside. And, you know, to me, that's a real shame. You know, you're used to Studio Series being able to integrate these weapons into their vehicle modes and robot modes, but I guess given the constraints of such a small size, they just couldn't pull it off, which is understandable. All right, we're gonna start with the transformation for Arcee. So first thing we do, we're gonna separate her arms. Open that up. Pull this off the post it's connected to. Just spread that out like so. We're gonna lift her up off of these little stanchions here. Spin her head around like so. Get that out of the way. Now we're going to turn her all the way around like that. Now we need to get these to kind of come up. Try not to pop her arm off. Oops. All right, you want to bring those pink parts forward. And once you do, you're going to bring this wheel, kind of fold it back. Get it to plug in right there to hold that together. All right, so you can see she's starting to come together now. All right, now we need to bring her upper body area forward, rotate up like so. Kind of untangle this massive ball joints that I have here. Get it looking nice and pretty. Okay, there we go. So this is Arcee's really alien looking robot mode. You can see she's just some sort of abomination on a unicycle. Now to get her to stand up, we're going to use this stand. Simply just insert her wheel into it. That'll keep her from flopping over and stuff. And yeah, this is her basic robot mode. And it's goofy looking, but you know, it matches her on-screen appearance. Now, if you want to arm her, I'm going to take this pink accessory here, and you're going to attach it like this. Basically, you want the top of her hand sliding into like the smooth side of this, and it will kind of lock in place if you do it right. There you go, kind of clips on there. And yeah, now she is ready to fight. She's got a big old Mega Buster. Oh, and I almost forgot, because I'm a big old stupid. She has this gray piece, this little spike, basically. It's supposed to come up. So just unfold it there. Sorry, I missed that little detail at first. But yeah, that's how she's really supposed to look. She's supposed to have this little piece of metal coming up out of her shoulder. All right, now we're going to transform Chromia. So the first thing you want to do here, kind of pull this piece out off to the side like so. And you're going to take this arm, pull it out of there, get out of the way, and take the front of the motorcycle, kind of bend it out. I'm going to rotate her here at this joint, and then you're going to take this wheel, rotate it out to the side, bring her head up, turn it around, like that, and then rotate the wheel the rest of the way around. Go ahead, adjust her arms to a nice natural position. This piece right here, you're gonna fold it all the way in. And then this is her completed robot mode. You see she's pretty tall. And for her, you wanna use this stand right here. Just drop her wheel down in there. And behold, this is Chromia's robot mode. And she's got a fair number of accessories to use. So you get this sword-like weapon that you can plug into her exhaust pipe arm through two 3mm posts here. That just goes in there nice and snugly. I said snugly. And then she has this piece of armor which can slide on to this bicep, utilizing these little notches right there in the arm. So you just line it up, get the right angle there, and just kind of press it on. Now, it does pretty greatly hinder the posability of her arm there. She's got this weapon, this armor. But it does fill it out. Makes her look like she's got a very powerful weapon here to use against the cons. And yeah, all together, she comes out looking pretty nice. And now it's time to do Elita. Not to be confused with Alita. Pretty decent flick, if you ask me. So first we're gonna do is kind of lift her gas tank up out of the way. Pick her head up. You're gonna fold the gas tank in, like so. Come around to this side. Pull her arm up off of the side of the bike. We're going to take this front wheel, pull it free, which ends up being part of our other arm. Get that out of the way. And you're gonna start kind of stretching her out, making some adjustments, moving this out of the way. We're gonna spin her around at this joint, like so. Rotate this panel so it's not blocking anything or getting blocked by anything. Then we're going to give her another rotation up here, second joint, like this. All starting to come together now. Oops, turn that around. There we go. Then we just want to make any adjustments that we need to. So when you move everything around right, she should come off looking like this. So make sure you get all the joints kind of aligned properly. All right, then the last thing you want to do here, bring this piece out to the side. Just get it sticking out. And then the last thing you want to do is take her stand, and rather than set her down into it, you actually slide it onto the piece that holds her wheel on there. Make sure you get her standing up straight. And there you go. This is Elita-1's robot mode. And you know, has the same general motif as the others, just kind of bouncing on a wheel. She's got this long snake-like torso. And she has some sort of, you know, weapons attached to her hands there. Now, she doesn't come with any extra accessories like the other two. For some reason, she gets the short end of the stick. Now we've got the three sisters together in robot mode. And you can see, despite having the same general shape, each one of them is very unique, very different. I mean, they all transform in completely different ways. So that's really great. I'm glad they didn't just basically make 3 copies of the same mold, paint them different colors, then call it good. They really wanted to get that accuracy. The level of detail on these 3 for being such little itty bitty figures is incredible. I mean, their eyes are painted, they have all this sculpted detail on pretty much every part of them. Nice silver paint touches where they need to. I mean, I think they're utterly fantastic. You know, them having the stands is also very helpful because you don't want them falling over. And while the 3 of them look great displayed together like this, nothing says togetherness in the Transformers universe quite like sharing one body and mind. So with that said, let's combine them. Okay, before we start this, I do want to point out that there is no official configuration for this combine mode. Hasbro, Takara, they haven't said anything on it, so as far as I know, they just dropped the feature, at least officially, because they didn't like the way it turned out. Which is, I mean, it's like history repeating itself, right? The original toys were supposed to have a combination too, but never happened. However, unlike last time where the original Elita-1 mold didn't get used, and instead they just redecoed Chromia, this time we have 3 unique figures and they do have all the connector pieces you need to put them together. Just how you configure them, you know, is kind of up to interpretation. Everyone's got their own idea. So I'm gonna give you my best guess. Might be right, might be wrong, but it works. So starting out, the first thing I recommend doing is putting Chromia and Elita back in their motorcycle modes. Make things a little bit easier for you. So So we take Arcee here, and we're gonna rotate her little like pink bits forward and out of the way. And you want to keep her in her stand. She's the one person that doesn't leave her stand. Now we're gonna take Chromia. We're going to pull away her gas tank and all that. Rotate her wheel outward, like that. Kind of get out of the way. Keep this piece out. And then you want to just kind of extend this. So you're getting her kind of just all stretched out here. And now her stand, actually I think it's actually Elita's stand, but whatever. This has kind of like a little notch, a little round hole in it. You're going to get that to connect to here, this little round joint. And it's kind of a pain, but it can be done. Just kind of get it on there, like so. All right, see how that's in there? Go ahead and put her kind of exhaust and seat section folded to the back, out of the way, to the side. And the arm, let's just kind of keep it out of the way. Now, what we're gonna do is take the tab from the stand, plug it into Arcee's back, like so. Just kind of get in there nice and good. Make sure Chromia stays put, doesn't wriggle her way out of that stand. She's gonna try. All right, so you got her. Chromia's extra arm here, you can just kind of tuck down, maybe inside of Arcee, out of the way, like so. All right, so that's in there, like that. Now when it comes to Elita-1, this gets really simple. Take this stand right here, and you see this little tab grabs onto this spot right there underneath the motorcycle mode. You just kind of squeeze that on there as well as you can. It won't lock in place securely, but it'll hold through friction more or less. And now this piece right here, this hook tab, goes into this nook right here. Slides in from the side like that. Then once you've achieved that, you see this little combiner kind of start to take form now. And she's interesting looking, that's for sure. Again, no guarantee that the way I'm doing this is the way, but it's a way that seems to fit everything together, you know, a way that seems to accommodate these stands and how they're supposed to go. And then the last little thing we're gonna do is attach Chromia's weapon and armor to Arcee. Luckily she has the exact same connections, so plug the sword in, take the shoulder armor and attach that, and there you go. You now have this monstrosity of a motorcycle combiner, and it's weird looking. I don't know if this is how they intended it, but I'd say it's as good a guess as any. And since their combination doesn't work anyway like the concept art of the characters had them back in the day, you know, your guess is as good as mine. But yeah, that's what we get. So now my final thoughts on this set. It's a very interesting set, right? Because it's doing something a little different. You're getting 3 small figures being sold at the deluxe price point. You know, it's not some weird price point for a box set. It is the deluxe price point. So kind of sets an interesting precedent because they don't usually do that, Hasbro. It's usually like 1 figure per box, you know, unless you count like little accessory figures. So it's kind of exciting because it leaves the possibility open for, you know, more multi-packs sold within an existing price point. For me personally, kind of hoping that on the generation side of things, the chug side, maybe they'll do the 2-bot combiner torsos finally for characters like Leo Kaiser, Monstructor. Just an idea, 2 smaller figures sold at the Voyager price point, combine and form a torso, yada yada. Of course, that's just wishful thinking on my part. So, anyway, yeah, as individual figures, they're very cool. Again, I think it's a shame that there's no way to store their weapons in vehicle mode, but I get it. I get why it wouldn't work. And I do really wish they would have given us instructions on the combine mode. Even if it didn't turn out the way they hoped, the connections are there. It just adds to the play value to have it, so it's a shame we have to play this guessing game. But because it is a nixed feature, I'm not going to judge the toy based on that. Let's just go with 3 bots themselves. They're all unique, they're all interesting, they hold together well despite being so small and delicate, and they're probably the best representation of the characters we'll ever receive. So on that end, I think they're worth picking up if you can find them. Of course, are you disappointed with them giving up on a combined mode yet again? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it or any of my other videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you all for joining me for a look at the Arcee sisters. And with all that said, I will see you next time.